Hello, welcome back to Blender Sushi Live Noding. I'm thinking to do a series of Blender particles, instancings, and Sverchok explorations. I kind of want to incorporate Sverchok into kind of Blender particles creations as much as possible. Even though Blender particles doesn't have, it doesn't work with nodes. It's not like node system, but Blender particle is very, very simple to use. And I think if we kind of work it out together with Sverchok, we can get a very powerful system. So yeah, I'll start from the very basic. I will kind of make it like intermediate kind of level tutorial. I'm gonna switch to compositing right away, but I will kind of explain it. So if you are using Blender particles, this is like without using Sverchok or any kind of nodes. Normally you would be like you're creating some kind of mesh as a particles emitter, right? Maybe some kind of grid, and with this grid you kind of by default it's like how many? This is like 10 by 10 vertices, and 9 by 9, so 81 polygon face, and you kind of know the number of polygon face and then vertices. You can go under particles here and create a particles. Use this as emitter, and let's say you want to emit one particle per polygon face. You can kind of set it up here, whether it's vertices or faces. We want it faces. We can turn off random and turn on this one particle per face, and then we can perhaps use like the monkey head. And if you want to instance it, it's very, very easy. You simply select the particle system and then go down, scroll down, and just instance the dupli object, assign it to Suzanne, and increase the size, and simply just assign the number of particle here, 81, and maybe scale the instance. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. But you see, the whole thing is kind of a little bit limited and restricted, because if you think about it, let's say if you suddenly want to change the number of grid, the polygon face, and you need to kind of restart the process, you can't go back procedurally. But if you are using Sverchok, this is going to be like a more streamlined, because we can always change the grid resolutions. It's not like we always need to go back and then change the reference and the instance. Let's say even with the monkey head, if you want to replace it with other things, even though we can do that, but let's say with this torus, with this kind of resolution, if we switch to the torus, and if we always, we are thinking, okay, we need to actually have more resolution, or we need to make this like a triangle kind of torus, we cannot go back unless we kind of remake the torus, So yeah, I'll switch to the other Blender. I think I'm using 2.78C. This one doesn't work with Sverchok. I'll quit. Need to open the other Blender. This guy, 2.78B. Show package content. Okay, reopen Blender. So I will do something really simple, just like a instancing of particles, maybe just using like one object. But I will work it out with Blender cycles as well. So, and then kind of work with the image texture. So the idea here is to do instancing of objects using and let Blender sample the color from the image texture. It's supposed to be actually very, very simple. So I will switch to cycles right away, and I will go to compositing. So like I said, instead of generating the mesh by Shift A and then finding the mesh here, I will use that Sverchok to do that. So this is going to be like generate emitter. Save this as Sverchok particle basic, and I will use generator here. We have a lot. I will just use a plane, and with the plane I'll make it maybe 10 by 10 for now. Okay, 10 by 10 vertices. That's mean like 81 polygon face. And we're gonna output this guy with a viewer B mesh. Plug this guy in and plug that guy in. So we are pretty much done. You see, very easy. I can turn on the wire whenever we need to increase the resolution. We can just do it from here. We can also normalize this guy, so it's always like normalized like that. So I just change it to 20. If we have particle system already built in, we can simply change this guy. One thing I need to let you know is like you need to turn off update, and also you might need to turn on fixed vertex count. And whenever you make changes to this guy, the UV will disappear. So that's something you need to keep in mind. Be careful with that. I'm just gonna disconnect this, just delete that. So I disconnect the whole connection, and I'm gonna do a UV real quick. So I'll switch to edit mode and tap A and then U and then unwrap the UV. So it's just a simple square. So now we have the UV. The next thing we want to do is to emit particles. How many do we have? How many faces? 361. Okay. Particle system, and I'll make it 361. I will emit from polygon face. Turn off random, turn off even distribution, turn on particle face to 1. Emit all particles at frame 1. So we have all the particles here, you see. And I will also turn off the physics. We have like one blank there. I don't know why, but it could be just a bug. I'll make it 362, but I don't know. 361 should be correct. Yeah, I don't know why. I don't know what's the deal with that one particle missing. I'll make it 362 anyway. So yeah, I will use these particles, and then I will kind of instance some boxes. So polygon cube, select the particles, and then switch this to object instancing, get our cube. So you can see our cube. I will set the unit of particle to 1 and scale the instance of the cube. Okay, so now we have our grid as emitter. This guy already have UV, and we have the instance of the cube. And the next thing I will do is I will turn off this render emitter. I will create a cycles material for our particle instance, and I will create a setup so that this material will be sampling an image. Instead of diffuse, I will use emission for now, and I believe I can just use the object UV texture coordinate. This guy, use the UV, but the UV of the grid itself. And we need some kind of image. For the image, I will actually use that image from Reddit. So Reddit plays. So this random image, I might need to scale this image. Actually, currently this image is like 1000 by 1000 pixel, and the other day I did experiment where I generated 1 million objects. That's not actually a good idea. It's not very efficient at all. 100 by 100 objects, like 10,000 objects still work. Maybe because my computer is a bit slow, but 1 million objects are too big, and I think it's not very efficient. But unless you are using like a particle instancing, 1 million and 1 million particle is nothing, you know. It's like you can instance it even with like a high-res kind of image. Okay, so with this guy, anyway, this is the image I will be using. I'm not worried about the resampling, and maybe I need to scale this down, or maybe kind of just grab a small portion of it, but for now I'll just use this image. Doesn't matter. So I need to assign this image into this guy, the grid. Actually, I don't need to assign it to the grid. I need to go back to the instancer, and then I just need to pipe in the UV of the emitter into the image texture node and select the image and then plug this into the color. So by doing that, we should already get the result. If, believe it or not, this is actually simply sampling it per point, so it doesn't do any kind of interpolation. That's why this thing looks very random. This thing, okay, this thing's like the 1000 by 1000 pixels. This kind looks random because it doesn't interpolate, you know. It's just sample a single pixel from that point. And currently we only have 362, so that's very small. I'll go back to Sverchok, like I said. I'll increase this guy. So back to viewer bmesh, and what's the name of our emitter? Alpha. Okay, alpha. I'll update this guy. Like I said, the UV will disappear, but I will make it now like 50 by 50. So we have like 2500 points. And for the faces, we have around 2407. So I'll increase the number of particle. And what else? Did I forget anything? I think I forgot the UV. Again, I need to do the UV once again. UV unwrap on the emitter. And now it's done. And if we render it out, we should get something that's slightly resembling this Reddit image, but I might need to scale this guy. Turn off update, scale this. And if our setup is still like correct, I think it should still work. But the idea here is like I can always go back to Sverchok and then change the number, change the resolution of the grid emitter, and everything will update like instantly. And then you can always make changes. Like currently we have like 2500 instances, and we start to see this image being replicated here, and you know, this guy is becoming a voxel. I can increase it, you know, like 10,000 or more, and we start to see more and more. I can even do like 1 million, but I don't like a big number because I'm working on like this computer that's almost like 8 years old, so it won't be powerful enough. But this is like a one way you can work efficiently with a big number. 1 million particles, I guess, my limit. But I'm not gonna do it because I'm recording as well. It's gonna crash the recording. So yes, that's how you can kind of generate like a procedural objects while you also can edit the emitter anytime. In this case, actually, the cube itself, I can do it inside Sverchok, you know, because we have all kind of generator here, icosphere or cube. I can make changes to the cube, for example. Maybe I will do that for the next live noding, but Sverchok has this box node, right? And this box node can output a real box, and you can assign material to it. So it's not a big deal. But this is like something that you can work as a kind of like an instance generator. You can make like maybe like 20 variations or 60 or even 100 variations using Sverchok, and then you go back to Blender particles and then just assign like a group instancing, and that will work. Maybe that's for the next live noding. So yeah, this is as basic as I could explain it. If you still have any question, let me know in the comment section below. Thanks again for tuning in. I'll see you in the next video.